today. I would have Mr. George Macon, but I would ask Mr. George Macon to just stay muted for me, brother, because I gotta take care of some business. Then we're gonna get into it. Um, Thank you everyone for joining us on this stream. I know you see the title, "The Unconditional Love of Black People." Today I didn't want to do the stream by myself. I have the great Mr. George Macon. He came on last year. He dropped a lot of fire for you guys. And you guys like George Macon, so I say, we'll be the greatest brother ever to come by and help us talk about this particular show. We want to bring the brothers in, and that's an awesome thing to do. Now, a few things I need to talk about. I have been getting some emails from people, and they were telling me that some people in the comment sections was telling them a few things. And it's like every few months I got to do this. I notice maybe every 6 months ish or whatever. So I want to put this out there. If it didn't come from me, if it wasn't typed by me, if it wasn't said by me, then no one else speaks for me. Okay. If you tell people, no matter who they are, don't come to this channel, why you have this opinion, you don't belong here, whatever you're saying, if I see that, I'm getting rid of you. You don't tell people if they can come here or not. If you're black, wherever part of the world, you're welcome to be here. Watch the show. If you whatever, I don't care. Watch the show. Don't bother me none. There are people that watch even outside of the black community, and I'm going to tell you why. There are some people that actually want to hear from different points of view. So they may go to a CNN and listen. They may go to a Fox and listen. They may come over here and listen. They may go to other people and listen, whatever, so they can get a balanced opinion. Then I have a lot of people that tell me behind the scenes that they come to our channel, here at least, to see what black people endure because they have black children, black family members that they're raising, etc. So they want to learn more, especially when they have a little black boy, okay? So they come to learn. They come to participate. If a person is not doing anything here that's trollish, that I would deem as trollish or wrong, it's okay for them to be here. It's okay for people to have an opinion. I'm cool with that. Just don't be trolling people in the process. Stop doing that, okay? If I'm talking about Amber Guyger today, let's say we talk about her, because some people got this particular attitude. I particularly say white supremacist. I say that word a lot. Racist, white supremacist, because I'm relegating that ideology to what it is. I'm not saying all white folks, just like I won't put all black folks in one box and say we all are Pookie and Ray Rays. We all are hood people or whatever. No, there are some black folks that do that. A lot of black folks that don't. Just like you got some Hispanics that's on one what they doing. Some of them not doing that at all. Ain't doing a thing. You got some Asians on something, some of them not on it at all. When you're dealing with people in the world, especially the workforce, you're dealing with everybody. So when I deal with things, even in business, I'm gonna have to deal with everybody because we are a global community. As black folks, we don't have all the industries in our pocket. Not at that point. So with that being said, when I go to conferences, there may be people that like me that could be different races of people. If they enjoy what I do, they know what I do. I don't bite my tongue. I talk the same with them. Trust me. I don't say, oh, look at something. Nope. I say the exact same thing I say to you guys here. What you see with me here is what you're going to get, period. So if they know that and like what I do, so obviously they can't be one of the ones that don't like black folks. Obviously they like what I do. So, because you're not going to be here too long if you don't like black folks, because I'm going to rub you the wrong way pretty quick. Okay. So let's cover that. The second thing, we put up a community tab last night, and in this community tab, it was for the Nuru Foundational, Foundation Orphanage. And we wanted to raise funds because we will be going to Nairobi, Mombasa, actually, on the 14th. We'll leave, and those group of people that's coming, those of you who know who you are, will be coming, and there's a lot of great things I want you guys to see. But when I posted that particular post last night, to make sure I get to this GoFundMe thing so I can give some people some shout outs, definitely for sure. There was a picture I got from their particular page itself. They don't have a website yet. From what I was told, I think Kellen is working on a website for them. Well, they didn't have a website. I mean, they're running an orphanage, and you have to understand, we as black people in America are living in a first world nation with a lot of opportunity, so much opportunity. I would tell you from what I saw last year, okay, that in Ethiopia, people that live in the quote unquote projects are living luxury living compared to those people. They have no government housing. They have no government food. They have none of this that we have here. And when you say, people here say, we're so poor, we're poor, we're poor. Let me tell you something. I'm getting tired of even hearing us say that, because when I look in black people, poor people don't walk around with iPhone 11. You got the latest iPhone, but you say you poor. When I go walk around and see that Jordan line, I see a bunch of black people there in that Jordan line buying them shoes. Black people are the best dressed. Black people drive good cars. Black people keep their hair done no matter what it is, whether you got locks or whether you got whatever you have going on, okay? We take care of ourselves. We throw parties. We go to clubs. You know, we got jobs, a lot of us. I mean, we doing pretty good compared to people definitely in third world countries. That's for sure. Now, when you get into, yes, I know a lot of people it's new to you, all this situation with the talking about wealth and all that situation. Let me tell you something. Unless we got 246 years of someone that's going to be giving us free labor, that's how white folks got what they got. And even if they cut us a reparations check tomorrow, because see, I just think the obvious. Do they owe it? Yes. But if they cut it tomorrow, that's not going to fundamentally change America, because these folks are just who they are, okay? So when I say these folks, and I'm talking about racism, I'm talking about those. If a person not being racist to you, then I'm not talking about them. Now, back to that picture. So I posted that picture, and they had, I think, about 3 or 4 white females in this picture. And it bothered me, the response, because, you know, you made the white supremacists right. In that moment, you made them right. They said if you want to hide something from the Negro, put it in a book or put it on a website. Clearly, if you went to the GoFundMe page, you'd clearly seen that this orphanage is ran by Kenyans that started back in 2004. And the people that was in that photo was from Denmark. That's where they were from. And they were volunteering. It wasn't their orphanage. You were saying all kind of craziness about those people. I don't even know who those people are. I don't know them, but you say all that kind of craziness. And this is what I say to you. If you don't like them being there, then why don't you go over there to African nations and you help? Okay. You show up, you put your footprint on the continent. That's what you go do. That way they're not there, because when I went to Ethiopia, I saw white people. I saw Chinese. I saw Arabs. I said, now they're not as much as, plentiful as they are in America. And they act a lot different because they're not plentiful like they are here. It's kind of like they, in a way, know their place. That's kind of how it is over there. But you're still going to have them there. So you're going to be quite disappointed if you think you go on to any place in the world and it's going to be a utopia, just nothing but us. It may be 90% us in some places, but it's not completely. Look, black folks are in every country of the world. Black folks go to Europe. Black folks go to all these other places. Black folks even in China, too. So what I'm saying is, when you consider yourself a global citizen of the world, then you're going to be everywhere. Just like black people's in the 4 corners of the earth. So if you don't like seeing certain things, start going over there. I will make sure to ask them at that orphanage, what exactly do you need help with? And I will let them tell you, and then you can take that information, and then you can take yourself to Kenya and you could help, and then you'll be in the photos. I just want to make sure to put that out there. Another comment I got, well, how you going to expect us to do something for somebody else and we need to take care of home? Don't even get me started on that taking care of home situation. But you know what? Since you said that, when I get back from Kenya, I got a project that you can help out with. And it's going to be helping out black schools. And we're going to start helping raise funds to educate black children with black ran schools. And all you people that said that you want to take care of the home front, I want to make sure you be the first person that be on those projects, because I've heard a lot of needs from black ran schools that don't take money from the government. OK, so they can continue to do what they have to do. So I want to make sure I want you to see you do that. But I guarantee you, the same people that's complaining about a couple of dollars, okay, I'm talking about those people, not the people that helped. I mean, you got some awesome people that jumped on this project for an orphanage. You talking about we poor over here. We don't, man, you are not poor at all compared to those people. I'm telling you, you're not. You're not. You're living good here in America. Why do you think they trying to come over here? Because they know our poor is still luxury. Section 8 is luxury. Because they don't get Section 8. They get pregnant, they don't get no WIC. They don't get no food stamps. They ain't get crap. I seen children on the street in Ethiopia, what they call street kids. They don't have no child protective services, which child protective services really don't protect a lot of kids. And that need to be overhauled because kids actually getting abused in that system. But that's a different video for a different day. What I'm saying is I seen children on the street. We don't see little children living on the street in America. We may see adults, but not children. So what I'm saying is don't ever sit here and think that you quote unquote poor is equal to third world poor. No, it's not. Don't even go there. And if you want to go see it yourself, trust me, it'd be good for you to go see it. Please. Because sometimes in America, we all, whether even black folks, we all have this entitlement about ourselves. And I didn't really realize that at all until I went over there and say, wow, we really think we got some problems compared to what other people are living. So once again, recap. If you don't want people, I guess you don't want people around, you go volunteer. You set things up. And then maybe they would say, wow, they got enough help. We don't need to be around. You talk about the missionaries, all these black folks in churches. You go be a missionary. That's all I want to say. Now, to the people that definitely helped out so far, and I want to give them some shout outs. I mean, man, it's not even been 24 hours and you guys are just really just, doing very well. I mean, on this, so far it's raised 1765 and it's just a 2,500 goal. But then make sure to give some shout outs to the people before we get started here with what I guess Mr. George Macon. We got Mr. Randy, appreciate you, Jermaine, I guess Mukhtar, appreciate you on that. Donna Marie, Pamela, Latasha, Sonia, it says Padre, Karen, David, and Antoine. I can't pronounce your name, YVES. I appreciate you. David, brother, you sent your picture there. You looking sharp in that suit, brother. That's why I like to see brothers cleaning up. Kenneth, appreciate you. Kareem, Lisa, Joyce, Spencer, Walker, Yvonne, Victor. I can't SCHEAN. I can't say that, but you know who you are. Marvin, somebody named No Need, Roy, Damien. I can call all the names. Candace, Jonathan, Beverly. Appreciate you. Wilma, thank you very much. You put unconditional love. Now that's how you show your love. Definitely want to help people around the world that's in the community, because if we don't help each other, who else? Now you see the thumbnail, and let's bring in our guest, the great, great brother from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, a great city with a lot of black people. And if he can hear me right now, Mr. George Macon, can you hear me, brother? All right, Mr. George. Thank you, and welcome to the show, man. Let people know how they can. They don't see you on camera yet, but tell them how they can get to you.
They can subscribe to my George Macon 2 channel. I don't know if anybody can put the link in the chat or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, but they can go to they can type in George Macon 2 and subscribe to my George Macon 2 channel, where that's where I bring a lot of the information. A lot of my information that I talk about, on my channel. I can't go live with my George Macon 1 channel, so all the action is on the George Macon 2 channel right now. So, we talk about, current topics, we talk about history. We actually, yesterday, on the George Macon 2 channel, me and Brother Moses Jenkins, we did a live stream on a coon character.
Okay, hold on a second, George. Can y'all hear George now? Y'all, you can't. Hey, George, say something, because they said they couldn't hardly hear you.
Oh, they couldn't hear me?
Well, they should hear you now. I see your bars moving.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
You good now? Okay, so his channel's George Macon 2, and somebody that maybe that know about it, or maybe he can put in the chat room when he get time. So George, let me ask you a question. You find out everything that happened with Amber Guyger this week. You saw the verdict. You saw The time she got in jail. What did you think about that?
Um, I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked. I was reading news, news articles today that came out a couple hours ago, where they had juror number 21 that was saying that he was very sympathetic, and because some of the people wanted, well, the DA wanted 28 years, and they said there was arguments, amongst the jury, but within 2 hours they was able to come up with a unanimous 10-year verdict, 10-year decision. And one of the jurors 21, said that he just couldn't bring himself to give her, he asked for a lighter sentence. Another juror, identified as juror 34, said, "I'm gonna be honest and true. I was like, I can't give her 28 years. But we suffer from, I mean, if I can say it, crackatosis. Like, we suffer from it bad. That crying white woman, she get up there and she start crying crocodile tears, and we start feeling sympathetic. We start feeling sorry. You had 12 jurors, 7 of them was black. And as I'm reading this article, the majority of the black people said they felt sorry for her. One male, 31-year-old male, juror 34, said that you can't compare this to any of the police shootings, because this woman actually had remorse. I mean, you're listening to these black people that we are entrusting to so-called bring about justice. So I think what we need to do as black people, I think we need to really reevaluate black people in this country. Like, who is actually black first? Who actually cares about black culture? Like, what we need to make a distinction as to the division between black people, and the white dominant society has done that. I did a live stream yesterday on a coon character, and me and my brother Moses Jenkins, and most people we use coon in the wrong way. Like, we don't know what a coon is, as opposed to a Sambo or a Negro. A Negro, and under the Negro classifications, would be a Sambo, a Mammy, and a Tom. And then you have, and this is not my words, this is the way the white dominant society in the 20s and 30s classified us. Then you had what they called nigger, and the nigger was a buck, and a coon.
George, unfortunately on this channel we heavily monitored, so let's try to watch what we say.
Yeah,
That's why I say N-word a lot here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's why I want to put it. I want to put it in a more teaching context, instead of using it if I'm just calling somebody a straight up, the N-word. Yeah. But if you put it in their classifications, this is how they classify us. So when you see, and I'm saying this for a reason, brother. When you look at a judge, a so-called a black police officer, a black judge, a black doctor, these are supposed to be the best of our groups, right or wrong. These are supposed to be the best of our people, right?
Right.
But it seems when we look at the days of a Paul Robeson, we look at the days of a Dr. Joseph Jackson, a Mark Dean, and all these great inventors and people that did things, the people that we see in the last 30 years are totally different from the people that fought to get us rights. They're not operating from a black first mentality. They're operating from an indoctrinated mentality. They're indoctrinated from pro-system. And if you go against the system, then you are more of a problem. They don't have the thought process of a Medgar Evers or a Dr. King or people like a Benjamin Hooks. They're not thinking like that. So when we see these black judges, they're not for us. They're pro-system, as opposed to the people that was actually fighting to get us the rights that we have. So we got to look at the division within this country. Our problem isn't just the dominant society. Our problem is actually black people that we entrust to lead us.
Just to show that. But anyway, that was weird.
Yeah, I think that they I think the family right now is doing.
Hold on a second. Get this person out of here. Because okay, I had a technical difficulty. I'm getting no. This young peasy person. Well, whoever that is, like say, well, you know what? If it's ratchet, well, let's carry yourself out of this ratchet show. You gone then. Don't worry about it. You ain't got to watch it. It's all good. But anyway, George, sorry for that rude interruption. You know, you can't have a technical difficulty or anything. You know, you worrying about how perfect it's going to be. And I do my videos 9 times out of 10 flawless. Just the one time I have a technical difficulty, he wants to start to run off at the mouth. Anyway, George, go
You
ahead.
know people sick.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Go ahead, and bless the people with that knowledge, man. Say the
I,
word right now.
well, what I will tell the young people today, tomorrow's Saturday, the next day is Sunday. We know, especially in the South, a good 75% of black people is in that black church. We know how powerful Christianity is on the mindset of black people in America. And what happens is we don't put any demands on black leadership. You know, we blame the white man for a lot of stuff, and rightfully so. But where do you ever see, Phil, where we actually march back into the community and we put demands on black leadership? When is black leadership ever under fire in the black community from black people? When do you ever see it?
They never under fire because you know, like even if you try to say something to a brother because he said something publicly, well, we should be doing that behind the scenes. Let's call it what it is. You don't even know that person's number, that person's name, whatever. If you're doing something publicly, you need to be told. You need to be told. I mean, especially when you're doing something very detrimental. And to be honest with you, that black church, the whole scene that we saw with Amber Guyger is the result of the current black church.
Yes,
That's all.
I would have to ask the question too. I'm gonna deal with this two ways. The first way is in 2019, based off the struggle of Black First, B1 mentality of people like a Medgar Evers, of people like a Martin Delaney, a Henry McNeil Turner, Ida B. Wells, people of that ilk that had a Black First mentality. Every right that we got today, we got from these people. We got from the sacrifices that they put in, right? When you look at all the degrees that we have today, that black people have, Brother Phil, as a collective, what has it done for the Negro, for the black population in America that other groups can see? What has it really done to create any type of cultural base of economic surplus for our people with all the so-called degrees that we have?
It
In
ever
your
did anything for us collectively, individually, yes, we have benefited,
right, but
but
nothing
not
collectively, right?
collectively. No, we haven't
Right.
because everybody got these degrees, and nothing wrong with the degree. I mean, trust me, nothing is wrong with a degree. But at the end of the day, it's still basically, you know, a piece of paper validating you in the white system. Because there's a lot of people that never went to school. Some people never even had a high school education in our community and been smarter than people with degrees.
Well, Carter G. Woodson and the Boise talked about the education of the Negro. And if you didn't have a black first mentality or understand black culture when you went into the dominant society to get an education, you won't be educated, you will be indoctrinated. And the majority of our people that we think is educated is indoctrinated. They're not educated. They're trained and conditioned to go along with the dominant society. So you can see all the education we have, but where does it translate into a cultural base for our people? It's almost like Dr. John Henry Clark said, once you get educated in the dominant society and they're paying you, they're providing your food, shelter, and clothing, you are now afraid to be black first, because to be black first is considered racist. Everybody else can practice their culture, but black people can't. So it's easy for the judge to go down there and hug this white woman and give her a Bible, because what accountability does she have to our own people, Phil? What accountability does she have? She's not afraid of the backlash. Why? Because she has no responsibility to her people. We're not subordinate to each other because we don't rely on each other for our lifestyle. We don't rely on each other for food, shelter, and clothing and things that we should within the culture. So it's easy for her to get up there and hug this woman. She's not afraid of nothing. She's not afraid of her own people. And this is what happens when what Carter G. Woodson spoke about and what Du Bois spoke about, when our talented group was the best of us was supposed to get education, but they were supposed to understand the mission. Go in and get educated and build where we can compete in the capitalist society. What we do is we build and we get decultured. Every other group go get culture and they maintain their culture. But for the black person to get educated
is at the expense of losing your culture. So all the degrees we have nothing that we can look back and say those are those Negro people. So then the second question I would have to ask is 2019. By 2050, when our grandchildren is looking into history and looking at our time, what are they going to say about us in the times that we did, in the times that we are in now? See, we can look at Dr. King, we can look at Malcolm X in the era, we can look at the 30s, the 40s, and the 50s, and we can see what our people came up out of. But the very things that we're complaining about today, what are my grandchildren going to say about us and our time in history? What have we accomplished? What have we done? We went and got some papers to say we got some degrees, but what type of legislation, what have we passed that our grandchildren are going to be able to benefit from today? What have we done? Those are the questions that we got to ask ourselves. So the reason why I'm saying all of this, our problem is the white man is who he is. He's who he is. We can call him all kinds of names. We are going to have to start to demand answers from the leadership, mainly that black church. And the reason why I'm saying that black church, because the black church is the heartbeat of the black community. The black pastors in the black community have the power to say, if they say go right, black folks will go right. If they say go left, black folks will go left. But they are not moving our people politically the way the black pastors did in the 50s and the 60s. They're not doing it.
Do you know why, George?
I mean, I have my reasons.
It's one thing that stopped them. Okay, prior to, let's say, the civil rights movement, the black church was the epicenter to plan and strategize. That's why the Ku Klux Klan would bomb black churches, because that was the places they would gather to make their strategy. Now, after the civil rights movement, and unfortunately they got comfortable, then they came in, George, with that 501c3.
Right.
And that was the worst. Listen, churches should not have ever taken the 501c3, because if they believe in the Bible, George, didn't Jesus say give to Caesar what is Caesar's and give to God what is God's?
What's God?
So, exactly. And then all this docile. They always talking about this docile behavior. You know, in these churches, they never talk about the Old Testament. Never talk about it. All the wars and God say rise up. They never say, they don't talk about Jesus himself when he turned over tables and he took a whip and was beating folks. So how is even Jesus himself docile?
But see, Phil, this is why I teach the history on my channel, because a lot of people will go and say, oh man, you always talking that stuff that happened a long time ago. But if you don't understand the history, if you don't understand tomorrow, you won't understand the present. I mean, if you don't understand yesterday, you won't understand the present, and you won't understand tomorrow. You keep making the same mistakes. So just based off of what you just said, right? Mm-hmm. When we look at the term coon, coon was considered lazy, angry, irresponsible, unreliable, all these different things, right? Mm-hmm. And we tend to call people we deem sellouts as a coon. Well, really the coon, the sellout was the Sambo. The Sambo was the one that knew things was wrong, but they rather find a comfortable spot in it. So when you look at after the death of King and the death of his brother in 1969, if you go from about 1970 on down, what has come about the black church and the black community from 1970 on down? Because if you look at the 60s on back, going backwards, you can see mighty men fighting, losing their lives. Black men were still being hung. Black women were still being hung. Black men were still being shot in front of their families, fighting for equality. What happened to the Negro, the Negro after 1970? What started to go on within these churches? And these are the questions that we have to ask, and we have to study that history, because what you see today is the classification of that Negro, the docile Negro that's broken, that will just find a comfortable spot in the dominant society instead of fighting against it. And anybody that have a voice against this system, those same Negroes will hurt you more than a white man will. They'll hurt you for the white man.
Oh, yeah. See, the thing is, I have learned that you have black folks that have a vested interest in racism, white supremacy, because that's where their butter and their bread comes from, okay? And so when you start talking too much about, hey, even doing for self, trust me, they don't want to do it for themselves. So you got people like Roly Poly Martin. He don't want to be doing his show. He want to be on CNN. You got those kind of those Congressional Black Caucus Negroes. That's the ones that standing in our way and preventing us from doing things. You know, they always talk about how those African leaders are so corrupt. I said the leaders you have here that's black is just as corrupt.
Yes.
And they're corrupt. And so you talk about that black church after in the 1970s, and then you have, you know, what came in. You gotta remember when that 501c3 came in to this church, and then you have the welfare system come in, George. Now, if you really believed in God, you wouldn't have been leaning on that welfare system. You'd have been trying to say stick our family together. But then at the same time, George, other groups come in here, and I'm trying to understand like a lot of self-hatred we have. Other groups come in here, get on that system, and don't get rid of their families. They come over here with 3 and 4 kids in tow. They don't say, oh, I'm poor, I need to abort my children. You get what I'm saying? See, that's the failure of the black church too, abortion, George. Because if you got 20 million black children estimated gone, and you got a black church on every corner, and the 10 Commandments say thou shalt not kill, we should be the least group that's aborting our children, George.
Well, when you deal with abortion, again, we have to understand history, and you got to understand why is there so many abortions in the black community? What role did the black church play in abortions?
We know that. We know the role they played. They brought it to the black community.
There you go.
In Harlem.
There you go with the Negro Project.
Mm-hmm.
With the Negro Project and H.G. Wells and the Rockefellers. See, before that they had the Sterilization Act, and it was too brutal. So they went and got Margaret Sanger. They put a woman's face out in front to get you to voluntarily down go and get your abortions. But to get into the black community, you have places, companies like Kellogg's and all of them. They started funding the black churches. And a lot of your black pastors took the check. They sold out. So just look up the Negro Project and you'll find out how Planned Parenthood found its way into your black community. But when I'm teaching this history, you know what black people do? If you title something like, yo, I'm tired of these niggas, 1,500 people will show up to your live stream because we're addicted to drama. But if you do a video titled, Let's Talk History, only 200 to show up or 100 to show up. And as much as we complain, we don't want to learn the history so we can have a proper protocol as to how to fight. See, when things go wrong, all we do is march or riot and tear up our stuff because we're in pain, but we don't know how to properly fight back. But the way you learn how to properly fight back is to understand your history, and then you have to understand the way the laws work within the municipalities that you live in. You got to understand your local laws. Now, this woman is a judge. She should be voted off. She's a judge down there in Dallas. There's plenty of black folk in Dallas. Get her off the bench. At what point are black people going to start holding black leadership accountable? This Sunday, across America, there should be walkouts of the black church demanding that our pastors take a stand for us, because if everybody is upset, as I'm seeing, if everybody is upset, then it's imperative that your pastor stand with you in these times of trouble. If he's not going to stand with you, then he's not for you. Because if he's going to come out and say, hey, we should just get hands and we should just pray and let God work it out. No, faith without works is dead. You're supposed to take the wheel and drive with the belief that God is going to deliver you. When you look at the Montgomery boycott of 55, if they just sat there and waited for God, it never happened. They went and moved and did something with the belief that God would deliver them. And they end up getting the things that they got done. When you look at the civil rights acts that was passed, they didn't sit there and wait for God to do it. So what are these pastors doing now? Why are we allowing these pastors to keep us in constant prayer? The white Christians don't operate this way. All the other groups that's Christians don't operate this way. They're not as forgiving. We on TV, Dylan Roof go shoot 9 people down. We forgive. Over there, what's that, St. Louis? Tamir Rice gets shot down. We forgive. But black folks is killing black folks tooth and nail in St. Louis. We ain't forgiving each other, but we constantly forgiving these people. We
Nope.
constantly forgiving these
That's
people.
why we titled the unconditional love of black people. And this is not just black people here, brother. It's black people globally. It's not just black, because like I said, that was a Caribbean family. Then when I covered the story out of Kenya where they had the white Jesus show up and they were just dancing and singing and happy and I said, oh my God, no. And then,
So,
African Tigers came on after that and she was pissed off. She was highly pissed off. And a lot of Kenyans actually were. I mean, not every person is on that shucking and jiving now. I mean, but the fact is, it's way too many of us doing it. And like I say, once again, is that entity of that church house. Whether you in Africa, because Tigers told me you could struggle in Africa and then you become a preacher and you live in first world. They got this one Kenyan preacher. I forgot that preacher name, Lucy something. I mean, she looked like she from America, but she over there in Kenya, where everybody else struggling. You get what I'm saying? Private jets, this chick in Dubai, with the Arabs and everything, but the people ain't not living like her. And then they say, "Oh, she's the woman of God. She deserves that." Like, how does she deserve it more than you? Like, I don't understand that. And like you said, George, this one woman made a comment saying that, "Oh, well, black men be in the leadership and they not doing a good job." Black men fundamentally have walked away from the black church for the most part. Black men have. They don't fool with it. It's more so, I don't know why the women are hanging on to this black church. And if we would take, George, that 10% of that income that you give into this black church that do nothing for you and say, let's put that 10% of our income into creating schools for our black children so they don't have to deal with these race soldiers, so we have to deal with these racist teachers and all things that we complain about in the schools, okay? We can dedicate that. We can start businesses. We can do all kinds of things with that 10% of that income. But we don't want to do it. We rather give it to this preacher and say, well, the man that God got to have, or God gonna bless you. Like, God don't need nothing from you. Have you read the Bible? Our money's paper. What paper gonna do to God? God will burn that paper up.
Man,
And hold on real quick, George. Ladies and gentlemen, I see you super chatting. If instead of super chatting, if you guys could possibly go to the GoFundMe and donate there so we can hit our goal, I really appreciate that. If you could, actually, it just came just put up the link to that. If you can do that, and Sean that just donated, man, appreciate you donating. I'll call people out as I see it come through. But I just want to put that out there because they'll take 30% of that. I'd rather you guys just help out with this here. Anyway, as we go in here, George. So what do you think about that? About this? What we were saying earlier.
I mean, listen, I live in Philadelphia, and I mean, I'm talking about the place. It's probably like as far as the North has the richest history for black people in the country. I mean, this was the place where when they ran to get free, they came here. This is why this population is still 56% black.
Right.
Over damn near what was 1.8 million people. I mean, Philadelphia, whole neighborhoods is nothing but black people everywhere. Philadelphia got 800,000 black people in the city. I mean, just black people everywhere. And it's a black church on every corner. I mean, this is the first place where the first Negro convention was. Where we begin, the first AME church is here. Everything that was the start, the Boise got his start here. Everybody, people like James Fortune, a lot of the people from the Underground Railroad, things were moving here. So what I'm saying is we have a template. We have a history that we saw that actually worked. And what I'm trying to explain to young people is, if you want to change, you're going to have to demand that the people that look like you change and do something. It's no more marching outside of City Hall telling white people to do any damn thing. When you see that judge do that, when you see black jurors side with the Dollar Society, they're letting you know there's a distinction between you and them. We are on this side, you are on that side. But these are the people that you're entrusting to lead you. So you got to get these people out of the way. My thing is this: the black church, the same way the AME church used to do back in the early 1900s. they a lot of these politicians will come up through the ranks will be people that we raised up, people that we funded, and they belong to us. They don't serve the Diamond Society. They serve our agenda. How many of you people in the chat room today, in the cities you live in, can say that you know a politician that you financially funded that come from where y'all come from that carries your agenda? Not many of you. So the very things that we're complaining about, we're not putting in the work because we don't understand our history, we don't understand our present, and we're suffering tomorrow. Because we're relying on these mammies, these coons and Sambos, whatever you want to call them, and to be our leadership. And these people are betraying us over and over and over again. And the Dominant Society can get away with it because they can say, well, it's not racist. Look, we got a black judge. It's not racist. We got a black bellot. Look, it's not racist. We got a black. These people are bought and paid for. These are not the people that represent you. And sometimes trying to get this message through to our people, it's hard, I feel, because a lot of times they want us to come on here and say the white man is the devil. I'm tired of this, and scream bloody murder and scream, scream, scream. But when we put the accountability back on ourselves, it makes us have to look in the mirror and look at what we're doing wrong. See, because I'm not even mad at the judge for doing that. I'm mad at myself and my people. Because in 2019, we're still allowing Negroes to behave that way in front of the world. That's our fault. That's a reflection on us. We got to do better. And people, we got to understand that whatever city you live in, you should know the judges that sits on the benches. You should know if you go to if you get a traffic ticket, you should know that judge. You should know your city council members. You should know all of these things. You should know your ultimates. Who's running the school district? You should know all of these people, and you should be involved in the voting process within the cities that you live in. And if you're not, then we can't blame that judge. We can't blame that judge because that judge is serving the people who serve her. That's what she's doing. But are we serving each other, Phil?
Like the Dallas Police Association, which is the white union, like I talked about in my last video about Dallas. Dallas, you know it's screwed up when you have 3 police unions. You have a white police union, a black one, and a Latino police union. That lets you know. I'm like, okay, I've been in a union before, and they didn't have 3 separate unions at the job I was at. Everybody was in the same union. So you know the cops have a race issue if y'all can't be in the same union together. So Judge Tammy, she was backed by the white union.
Police union. Right. So she's serving her people.
Right.
She's serving her people. Does Judge Tammy belong to us? I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, what I'm saying is when you look at the Asian community, when the Asian guy in New York City shot that black man in the stairwell in the projects, the Asian community didn't give a damn whether he was right or wrong. They supported their people, right or wrong.
Yeah, Peter Liang.
Yeah, I'm looking at the jurors. The jurors are saying, I couldn't sentence Amber Guyger. I just couldn't bring myself to sentencing her this. The Asian community didn't think that way. You think them Asians gave a damn about that man's mother? No, they cared about their people.
Let me tell you about them. It was Chinese. Let me tell you what happened in Houston. They did a nationwide protest of Peter Liang. Never in my life I seen that many Asians outside protesting.
Absolutely.
I said, "Wow, these Asians." I was right with my wife. I said, "What's up with these Asians?" I never forget that. And I saw them with signs to say it was a mistake and we are friends of the black community. And I'm like, what the? And I walked up to one of them. I say, well, what y'all doing? And say, oh, we just protesting what happened with Peter Liang in New York. And, you know, we understand we're minorities too. And people doing things to us. We don't hate nobody. And because I guess they thought some backlash was coming, I guess, from the black community. So they was just trying to say, hey, we ain't. Or whatever, but then
damage control.
Yeah. But it was all on code. I never seen them do that before. All of them, and it was in like around Westheimer and all that, which is nice areas. If you never been here, it was all around the Galleria area and all that protesting. And I'm like, wow. But
see, brother Phil, what you gotta understand is something. You from Houston, right?
Yeah.
Well, you from a big city too, right? Me being from the East Coast, being from Philly, where we live in a real densely populated areas, you know, they pack damn near 2 million people on 130 square miles. You know what I mean? Just small, we just packed stacked on top of each other like sardines, right? Mm-hmm. When you look at these inner cities that we live in, This what it's 970 people watching right now, and I want y'all to understand this, especially if you live in cities with large black populations. Understand what I'm about to tell you. The Arab, the Asian, the Latino, all of these groups, even if they're not racist, Phil, right? Let's just hypothetically say, even if they're not racist, in a capitalist society, economic-wise, they can never ever support you. Because if they ever supported your development and to help you get out of dysfunction, what does that do to them economically when their lifestyle is predicated on your dysfunction? Their lifestyle is predicated on opening up businesses in your community and you patronizing them. So now when you get black pride, when you get a culture and you begin to build your own and they become irrelevant to you, what happens to them economically? So they can never support you. That's the way the capitalist system is set up. They're not set up to be your friend. They're set up for you to be in a subordinate position to them when they come here. That's why they can come here. They don't have to go get a degree and spend thousands of dollars. They don't even have to spend it. They don't even have to speak English. They can sit on that corner store for 5 years, make a couple $1 million, and never ever get a degree, can't do a math problem. None of that stuff matters. But we don't understand. We don't understand. We keep thinking of these groups and we don't have no friends. They're not on your side. When you vote for a politician to push something, they're going against that. And it's not always that they hate you. It's business. You can't, listen, blacks in Houston can't get right. What's that going to do to all the other groups that make money in your community? You start having black first, black pride. Instead of going to the Crown Fried Chicken, I'm going to Miss Louise Fried Chicken. What's that going to do to all the Crown Fried Chickens in New York, in Newark, in Philadelphia, and all these different places? We get cultural pride and start doing our own nails. So you got to understand how much money these people make in the black community every year with all their economics. These are the questions that we got to ask ourselves when you see that judge get up there and hug that lady. So are you mad at the judge or are you mad at yourself for not loving your fellow brother and sister?
Well, George, it's not just the judge hugging Amber Guyger. Is the fact that we also love abuse. We'll get two-pieced in a nail shop, two-pieced in a beauty salon, beauty shop, or whatever, supply store, and we'll still go back, even though the men saying, hey, don't you go back over there, what's wrong with you? You would let those people put hands on you, but a brother, if he was to ever think about putting hands on you, you would call a white man to come haul him off, and now you got domestic violence charges. But them folks, you'll keep going back and saying, oh, I have no way of getting products. And then I have presented a website ran by a black woman where you can get all the products you can. That black woman should be rolling in money, all the stories I have put up, right? But I guarantee you, matter of fact, I'm going to reach out to her and find out if her sales went up. And if her sales didn't go up, I'm going to make a video going off. Because how is you not going to support another black woman? See, the problem is, George, some of us don't want to see other black people doing good either. We rather go get two-pieced by a Korean than support another black man or a black woman. Because, see, we have an issue, like I said before. We are that, I always talk about that bull with the red eyes. We are that bull, too. It's not just them, it's us, too. When you see black people trying to halfway succeed, who we think she is. Or, we have this competition with each other instead of these other groups come into this country, George. Like even the people coming south of the border or people flying to this country and staying on a visa and expiring. They come here to compete. They don't care about our history. They don't care about what we go through. They don't care about crap. They come here to get the bag. That is it.
Yes, I mean, I agree. But this is what I'm saying. Even if they come here, they're not racist. In this capital society, when they come here, they're placed in your community. They're placed in your community. So if you're not recognizing that, like if here in Philadelphia, you got Asian people cutting black people hair now, Phil.
Wow, really?
Yes, they cutting black people hair now.
George, hold on. Stop. Let's stop right there. How do y'all, as black men, allow that? Because I'm not gonna let no Chinese cut my hair. Only a black man gonna cut my hair. I won't even let a black woman cut my hair. You can say whatever you want to say about me, but only a black man gonna cut my hair. So how y'all letting that go down, bro?
That's just. But this is where we're at as a people. We're dead people. So what happens is some groups go now. They go into the dominant society and they get educated, and we're already going in uncultured. And then we go into the dominant society. That's how I say on my channel. I have a I'm not gonna cuss, but I did a series. I can't wait to get the F out of here mentality. We suffer from I can't wait to get the F out of here mentality. And what does that mean? We suffer from undiagnosed PTSD and trauma, and all the trauma that we've experienced in the black community. How many of us? I mean, I'm in my 40s, so I grew up during the crack era.
Me too.
And I remember being a kid, sometimes seeing dead bodies in the street. I mean, Philadelphia, we averaging 500 homicides a year during that time. And I'm saying, I can't wait to get the F out of here. I got to get out of here. I mean, just you playing basketball, there's a shootout, you got to hit the ground, and you begin to normalize it. Like, it's a big shootout, you hit the ground, get up, dust yourself off, make sure you get hit. We go back to playing basketball. You normalized it. So what I'm saying is, we developed this psychological conditioning that we see ourselves the same way the white man see us.
Yep.
And we judge each other that way. So you'll hear people say, why should I come back to the black community? They're not going to do nothing but rob me. They're not going to do nothing but destroy me. But my counter to that is, wait a minute. In the black community, there's school teachers, there's blue collar workers. If you get up in the morning in a place like Philadelphia, you're going to see thousands of black people going to work every morning. All over the place, just going to work, getting on SEPTA, the trains, the buses. The majority of the black community goes to work every day. We don't have this big economic surplus if we didn't have jobs. We get up and we go to work. The problem is when you say that you don't want to come back to the black community, Phil, you're not doing the Pookies and Ray Ray wrong. You're doing the black people wrong that chose to stay, that lives in a community that's doing all the right things. Because the majority of black folk in Houston ain't selling drugs. They're going to work every day.
Oh,
They're
yeah, you got to go to work to live here. That's for sure.
Right. They're decent black people. So what about the school teacher? What about the fireman? What about the waterman, the gas man, the electrician? What about all those people that you abandoned when you got the bag, right? And we refuse to come together now as groups with the bag to create. We should be gentrifying our own communities. And the reason why I say that, I asked you when we first started.
Let me add something to it. My wife, George, famous as she is on the internet, she told me something I thought that was real fly, because they're doing a lot of gentrification in Third Ward, right? And you start seeing, I tell you about, you see Starbucks erecting your neighborhood, gentrification is coming. Okay, so my wife was saying, well, look, you see how they building up the place? We was over there looking at how they putting up all these condos and all these high living places. She said, look, let them build up the community, and let them spend their money. And then what happens is the people you're talking about, like the ones you say that left the community, then let those people come back and stay in those places and let black people occupy those places and use their money to build it up. And you don't spend a dime. And I said, you know what? I said, that would take a coordinated effort from black people to do that. But yeah. And then he said, when you get in there, then you create other businesses and why they built it up. I said, that is a great idea. But why don't we do that? Like you said, reverse gentrification. Why don't we have those doctors and lawyers and business owners move back to the area once they build it back up?
Again, and I'm glad you said that, because I lured it right into this to push the point home. In the beginning, I started out that there was a classification of Negroes, of black people. And I used the N-word, where they had bucks and coons. Then you had the Negro, which was your mammy, your Tom, and your Sambo. These black people today is not Paul Robeson. They're not Dr. Joseph Jackson, who created the remote control. They're not these people. They're not Dr. Leonidas, who discovered who discovered how to diagnose stomach cancer. These are not these people. These are not these people. These people are indoctrinated people who joined the dominant society, who have no thought of ever coming back to a black community. They want to go and be a part of communities that don't accept them. See, the thing is, I asked in the beginning when we first started, I said, how many black people have degrees? We have educated black people all across America, Phil. So it's no excuse for why we're doing it. The only excuse that we can come up with is black people don't like black people. And it's because of the classifications of what they did to us within this dominant society. You feel as though you got education. How many times you hear these groups, Phil, across this black YouTube? I got mine. Why you niggas ain't get it? I got mine. Waiting for y'all. Let it burn.
Well, for me, with that argument is that no matter what you have, you still an N-word in America. And they would like both of them. Jean, for instance, he's a great example. He was an accountant. He didn't commit no crimes. They didn't find one thing on him to smear him in the media. They couldn't find it. He was squeaky clean, and he still got killed by police. So with that being said, it don't matter about any of that if you black in America. Nope. If we don't learn anything else from both of them, John, we can learn that. But one person had made a comment about, well, what about affordability? Let me tell you something. I have to start attacking that affordability question. The fact is, why don't we try to pursue as black men? They always talk about the bag or whatever, but pursue a good way to provide for our families, so we don't have to be looking for affordability. As a man, I don't want to be looking around and say, man, I would love to live there, but it's not affordable. Come on, man. And then what about our kids? Like, how you gonna put them in good areas? Like, you got to work 2 jobs to make it, or while you go to school. Do what you got to do. Like I said, these people, I do the research. These people south of the border cross countries with their kids on the streets. Some of them get robbed by cartel and everything else. Some of them even get raped. Some of the women that's coming over here, but they do everything they can to get over here. They say, man, if I can get over America, I can get the bag. We are here. We are American citizens. All of us should be having some sort of bag. I don't accept, especially black men, telling me anything about why we can't do nothing. And we survived slavery. We survived Jim Crow. We survived convict leasing. We survived black codes. We survived everything you could think of. You mean to tell me now, when you don't really have it on you like they had it? Like our ancestors had it. We don't have it as bad as they did. We really don't in a lot of ways. You study the history. George will tell you that.
Well, the thing is, I say, we got over 1,000 people in the chat. Some of the moderators put my link in the chat. Please subscribe to that George Making too. I'm trying to get it to 1,000.
Yeah. Please, everyone, go subscribe. If y'all got a link in the chat for George, or George, you have an opportunity to go to the chat yourself and put your link in there.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it to 1,000 subscribers.
Please go over and subscribe to George, or you can continue to hear George. But my thing is, I was raised old school, okay, George. And let me tell you, and O'Shea, shout out to him when he was here earlier. I don't know if he's still here. They were having this conversation about being a 50-50 man and versus you doing everything as a man. I was raised, George, and see, that's the problem right there. For even a black man to discuss wanting your woman to pay half of the bills lets you know we screwed up as black men.
Yes. Well, this is the thing, what I was about to say. When we talk about chasing the bag, right? Mm-hmm. Black men was always conditioned to chase the bag, whether illegal or legal. Because even the drug dealer in the street, I mean, whether we liked it or not, he was still chasing the bag. He was trying to get to that bag. Black men was always conditioned to chase the bag. Now we have a new generation of men that's conditioned to live off of women, or think like when I said something on Brother Taz's channel today. Who is chasing the bag? Who is chasing the bag? What is the mentality of the people that's chasing the bag, Brother Phil? Are these people black first that's chasing the bag? Or are they going in uncultured? See, if you're going into the white man's institution uncultured, then you're already destroyed, because Dr. John Henry Clark said European education will never educate you to compete with them. It would only is only set up to indoctrinate you. So we got to understand what we're up against. We don't have a wait till you finish. Yeah, we don't have a black first mentality. And that's the problem. We're not going into, like, when the Korean comes to America, Phil, or the Asian, they come to America and they get educated, and but they still maintain and uplift their culture. When we get educated at the expense of our culture, and that's why we have nothing. That's why you have men today saying 50-50 and we have no power. So what I'm saying is, to the 1,000 people watching, I'm not even talking to the black judge or whatever, Brandt Jean. I'm talking to my people. I'm talking to my people. I'm talking to the 1,000 people. I'm talking to the 1,000 people that's watching now. My people. What are we doing? How old are you, Phil?
I am 40 years old.
40. All right, I got you by 4 years. What I'm saying is this, Phil. You got a child. When
Yes,
your
yes, I
baby
got a
has a
few of them.
baby, yeah. When your baby has a baby, or your baby had babies, and those babies are in their 20s, 25, what are they going to say about us? What is our history? I mean, look at us. We talking about 50-50. We complaining. We watched Tamir Rice get shot. We're complaining about these drug laws where they sentenced us to 101. In 2019, Joe Biden has the audacity to be running for president as a Democrat and trying to get the black vote when he was the one that wrote up the mandatory minimum bill in 1986. That Ronald Reagan signed. He was the one that wrote it. That's how I know that black people are not educated. They don't read nothing. Man, he should have been out of there the minute he.
Hold on, George. I learned that by posting that picture with a GoFundMe. I learned it. Some of them don't read. Go ahead.
No, he was the one that wrote that up, and then he revised it in '88, and then matter of fact, he was involved in the '70s with Nixon when they first had the war on drugs. This guy has been against black people from day one. But yet and still, because of our ignorance, he's able to be up there with Obama as his vice president. And I remember when Obama went out, they was all on Instagram with them Joe Biden memes. Oh, I'm a smack Trump, and all these black people laughing and shuck-a-bucking and all this stuff for him. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Do you know who this man is? This man is responsible for your daddy being in jail. He's responsible for this. He was the one that created the crack law. If you get locked up with 14 grams of crack, they can give you 57 years in cities like Houston. But a white boy get locked up with 2 kilos of powder cocaine, he can get out in 2. They created this crap.
And check this out. Now they having their own epidemic, and you know what's happening to them? First of all, they're not getting mass incarcerated. That's first and foremost. But now these drug companies are paying lawsuits in the millions to these people. Black people didn't get no bunch of lawsuits. Every day I look up, they paying 800 million, 600 million, and even the people in Las Vegas, right? The one that dude did all that shooting, they just got an $832 million payout. Black folks killed all the time, but yet they gonna pay these folks all this money. So anything that happened to them, notice that they don't need studies, they don't need legislation, nothing. They just cut a check real quick for them. You understand?
Well, the federal government admitted that our communities was used as collateral damage in the mid 80s, early 80s, the flood with cocaine to fund wars in Central America. They admitted this. So once this was admitted, we had already had a war on drugs with the heroin epidemic in the 70s, with the Corsican scandals. So we had already had. Let me back up for a minute. When you look at the timeline of our migration from the South to the North, they had the Unfair Housing Act under the Roosevelt administration in the 30s that they didn't abolish until 1968, but it was still never abolished. They just abolished it on paper, but the practice was still in place. And under that Unfair Housing Act, we wasn't able to acquire wealth. They kept us out of being in ownership of homes where we could acquire wealth, and they kept us out of having insurance policies where we can acquire wealth too. You can only get burial insurance. See, this is where your reparations part comes in, not just with slavery. You have to read and understand what we went through, and what I'm laying out right now will explain to you how we got redlined into ghettos and how they set us up for the heroin and crack epidemic, and then the prison system. See, everything is on the timeline. When they Plessy versus Ferguson us and the troops came out and they began to kill us and burn our cities down, and we began to flee the South and run into places like Philadelphia, Newark, New Jersey, Brooklyn, Chicago. All of this stuff was set up for economic surplus. This was done by the North because the North wanted to empower themselves with black folks that was on those plantations. So once we got up here, They put us in docile situations where we couldn't acquire wealth. So we were still under the foot of them living in these cities. Still being hung, still experiencing racism, because a lot of y'all don't know New York City had the biggest plantation in the country. Up north. You know what I mean? You know, they had Negro burial grounds here in Philadelphia. So why am I saying all of this? What I'm saying is, when we got up here, they had Jim Crow South, but they didn't allow us to acquire wealth within the cities that we were living in. Certain cities like Detroit, Camden, New Jersey, which is one of the poorest cities in the country now, was flourishing because they had industrial businesses. But they start taking those out and moving them out further into the states. So those cities went to hell, right?
Right.
Here we are living in these cities, fighting for civil rights. Detroit turned upside down. Watts, Compton, upside down, right? They flooded our communities with heroin. Now, how were they able to do that, Brother Phil?
But prior to that, hold on, Brother George. I know Bishop George is definitely cooking with grease right now. In order for the drugs to come in, if you go back to the 1970s, that's when all the manufacturing jobs started to leave America, and a lot of black men,
that's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, worked these jobs, so they had no jobs.
Right, well, that's what I was saying. When you deal with Camden, New Jersey, right, which is right over the bridge from Philadelphia, right? Camden, small city, but always in Chesapeake, always like murder, always like high in the murder capitals, right? Small cities, but we had like 50, 60 homicides right up the street from Philadelphia. These were industrial Campbell, you know, Campbell soup. Campbell's was in Camden, and it fed the whole city of Camden. You take cities like Milwaukee, where these were factory job cities. They took those factory jobs out, and remember, we still wasn't able to acquire wealth because they wasn't giving us home ownerships like they should have, and they kept us out of insurance. So once they took that out, we went poor. So what do when you create economic deprivation through policy? You flood the communities with heroin. It's easy to get black men to do that now because a lot of them can't get jobs. So they start selling heroin. So what do? They make stringent drug laws, and the prison system starts to go crazy. So why am I saying all of this? I'm saying all this to say, when you see a Joe Biden and some of these older politicians, these people were complicit in this. But you know how I know people don't know this? Because like I said, people were celebrating Joe Biden on Instagram.
I don't know who would do that, because I call him Jim Crow Joe, because he the one wrote the crime bill that got all these black people locked up. Let's call that what it is.
Most people don't know. They don't know it, Phil. Listen.
And Bernie Sanders also, he signed off on that crime bill as well.
In 94. The 94 crime bill.
And you know what I just heard about Bernie Sanders? He had a heart attack.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, listen, Bernie Sanders, the Clintons, you got to understand the Clintons and their role in this war on drugs and the landing strips there in Arkansas, and when the drugs came in, we don't study. So what I'm saying, all I'm saying is to our people, I don't really deal with those Negroes and the Diamond Society. I deal with you guys. There's no reason why today we can't have something that we're developing for ourselves. Listen, when that Tekashi 6ix9ine stuff started, and he started snitching, man, that thing went viral and went everywhere, all over the place, didn't it, Phil?
Yeah.
So the question we have to ask is, I ain't talking to Judge Tammy. I'm talking to the 1,000 people watching us right now. Bishop George is talking to y'all right now. Bishop George got a question for the 1,000 people watching. If we got a problem with Tammy the Mammy, that's what they call it, Tammy the Mammy. But when Tekashi 6ix9ine starts snitching and everybody went viral and had something to say, how come we can't create our own movement now across Black YouTube where we start saying we demand answers from the Black church, and it goes well heard the same way that Tekashi 6ix9ine was heard? How come we can't have a movement on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook? How come we can't just blow all those joints out where they say, damn, them Negroes is going crazy? They going crazy on their own people. They want answers. How come we can't do this? If we can't do this, then we can't be mad at Tammy the Mammy. If y'all not willing to go crazy the way we did, the way we gossip, If Brother Phil get off here with George Macon right now, get back on here, and he titled this thing, I'm tired of these niggas. It'll be 3,000 people in this joint. 3,000 people will be in here because we used to drama.
You sound like O'Shea Duke Jackson right now.
Yeah.
Saying
If you title, I'm tired of these niggas, and you put the exclamation points behind here, man, they be in this joint so fast.
Yeah. Well, whatever hot topic it is, George, people are watching. Like because I went in that night after that verdict and all that hugging, I had like 4,600 people on my live that night. You know, so it just depends on what it is, and yeah, if it comes to any kind of drama or whatever, you talking about the Tekashi situation or whatever, that's a failure on brothers from the street right there. Because I couldn't even believe, if you want to talk, I'll talk about that for briefly. When we were growing up, Tekashi 6ix9ine had been ran out of there, and we would have told him he need to go to the Alphabet Club the way he looking, because that's what he looked like. You know what I'm saying? So why you can't come over here with us?
See, and this is the problem with some of these Sambos, man. The black dude, black equals 100% excuses and 0% individual responsibility. And this is the problem with see back in the day when you had the Nation of Islam in certain cities, a lot of black men was afraid to talk that way. See, it wasn't microphones where everybody could just speak. You had to go along with what the group was doing and what the group was saying. Today, anybody can put a microphone in their face and talk, and a lot of these people talking, Phil, shouldn't be speaking. And what I'm trying to tell people, what I'm trying to say to y'all is, listen, I don't care if you don't have to like George Macon. That's fine. You don't have to like me.
Hold on, wait a minute. Why people don't like George Macon?
No, I ain't saying that. I'm making a point. They don't have to like me. You don't even have to really respect me. But just understand what I'm saying to you. If we can go across Instagram and Twitter and gossip and watch the gossip sites and talk trash and argue amongst each other, what is stopping us right now from creating a movement? Dr. King was 39 when he was murdered. The 1968 Democratic Convention in Chicago, those were young college kids. These were young kids. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Power to the people. Black power. These were young kids. They wasn't 45 and 50. They were young. So what's your excuse? What is your excuse now if you don't like Tammy and Mammy, if you don't like the fact that Christianity, the way these pastors is conducting Christianity, what is stopping you with all of these mechanisms that you got today to communicate? What is stopping you from starting a movement? How do you listen? The Black Panther movement was created in the 60s, right? They didn't have no social media. They didn't have cell phones, but it went worldwide. What's stopping us right now from creating a movement if we don't like Tammy and Mammy? If we don't like these pastors across America, the way that they operate in the black church? What's stopping us?
George, you want to know what's stopping us?
I'm listening.
Okay. We're comfortable.
That's all I wanted to hear.
We're comfortable. And when you're comfortable, when you're comfortable just at your house, you laying down, do you really want to get up and do anything?
So we should stop complaining.
Oh! I'm just telling you. You asking a question about why we want to do this, why we won't do that. I'm telling you that we're comfortable. You okay?
I agree.
Number two, that's why I said that I'm not trying to focus my attention on just everybody. I'm only focusing my attention on those who want it. That's why my message is for those that want to do something, want to learn some different things, that want to have not only do things here in America, but also do things globally. That's my mindset. If you want to fight me on it, listen, I'm not even fighting with you. I'm too old for that. I'm starting to get to that age like Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon. Too old for that. So I'm not gonna waste my energy. See, as you get older, George, certain things you pay attention to, you realize is a waste of time and a waste of energy. You know what I'm saying? Versus, let's say, when you're 21.
Yeah, I agree. Well, what we got to do is see people look at propaganda as just all bad. All propaganda ain't bad. You got good propaganda.
All propaganda not bad. Propaganda could be wonderful.
Yeah, you got good propaganda and you got bad propaganda. We have to use the same way they know how to socially engineer us. They know how we think, how we operate. They can put something out right now and can make black folks real angry, right? Because they know how we operate. What I'm saying to you guys is, if you want change, you got to create the movement. And like I said, I
Mr.
seen
George, the person asked a question. Why don't you start that movement?
I have. I have. And that person asked the question, let me see your channel. What are you talking about? What are you telling the people? I have the movement. I've been doing this for a long time. If you follow my content, you would know what I'm about and why I'm on the show. See, this is the thing with these people. See, why don't you do something where you're at? Where you at? We got to do it where we're at as collectives. And just because I'm talking don't mean I'm the leader. You got to be the leader where you're at. Let's meet up. See, if somebody would have said that to Stokely Carmichael, it would have never got done. How would he have people if he's speaking in one city? H. Rap Brown is in another city. They're beginning to make moves. Somebody sees Stokely Carmichael, and then you know what? That inspires them to get a microphone and start speaking in their city. And now they're being heard. Now they're being known. So what I'm saying is, when they locked up R. Kelly, I seen Negroes have all kinds of memes for R. Kelly all over the country, all on everything. But I don't see no movement across Black YouTube where we're criticizing this Black church. I'm not telling anybody to leave the church. I'm telling you to put them on a hot seat and say that we demand you start moving this way. I don't see no means for that. I don't see no means for you calling out certain Black officials that you deem responsible for you. I don't see none of that. But I guarantee you, next week when this die off and they bring this R. Kelly trial back up, you're gonna see all kinds of R. Kelly memes and all kinds of other memes.
We already have R. Kelly memes. Did you see the latest one talking about what did it say? I heard y'all forgiving people. You seen that one?
Yeah. My wife
that
showed
was
funny. Yeah, my wife showed me that.
They was listen. Well, the things that R. Kelly has done is just utterly despicable. So, like I said, listen. Back in my time period, R. Kelly wouldn't have been a problem because R. Kelly he'd have been not found anymore. That's the only thing I'm gonna say. You don't touch children. Anyway, the situation with Bill Cosby. You know, you had more Black people that was more pissed off with Bill Cosby than they were with Amber Guyger. And then you look at the trial that happened with Bill Cosby and find out all the way they just had ran a kangaroo court on that man. I mean, like, wow. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, George, like I said, and I even told my wife this, I'm going to fight all I can. I got my plans of what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do that. But like I said, when I get back from Kenya, I'm gonna start by trying to help, Black-run schools, like say raise money and give money to these Black-run schools for our kids. And if they don't get on board with that, some of these people that's talking, I'm gonna lay into them. I'm gonna lay into them because some people use that excuse. Oh, I'm only gonna do something here in America. Then when you say, okay, let's do something here in America, and then you don't want to do crap. Black kids are suffering out here, man. I'm talking about in this system. We can actually stop a lot of the things that we deal with. Really, we could. We can eliminate a lot of problems we deal with literally overnight. Even in America, we could.
What I guess what I'm trying to say as we begin to wind down, what I'm trying to say to you guys is I don't expect everybody to be a leader. Everybody's not going to be a leader, be one for life. What's happening, my brother? Everybody's not going to be a leader. But what you can do is you can help in the movement, especially with the social media, by pushing a certain consciousness in the minds of the people. See, what you guys need to understand, whenever you put up those memes of R. Kelly, or you put up those memes of Bill Cosby, or you put up those memes of Tekashi 6ix9ine, you put up those memes of Tammy the Mammy, you put up those memes of Amber Guyger, you put up those memes of all these different things, you're perpetuating the consciousness that the people are moving by. But now when you begin to put up memes of Black accountability of Black leadership, Black accountability of Black ministers, Black accountability of Black people, period, we begin to make our people look at themselves in the mirror, and you begin to create a new consciousness as the way we should be moving. But how many of y'all are willing to do that? Where are the memes to say we should have memes? I wonder how the Black church feels about this, and have the picture of her hugging, and had the picture of her hugging the judge hugging. I wonder what the black church would say about this. And have a picture of that Nigerian woman rubbing the hair of Amber Guyger. Where are those memes? Where are those memes? I wonder what my black. I wonder how.
George. You know what, brother? Now you got some memes to make.
Yeah, of course. But see, what I gotta do, Brother Phil, is I gotta put it out in the atmosphere. I gotta say it. I gotta speak to the winds and let it blow. I gotta put it out there in the minds of the people, because maybe if I say it, some people go do it.
Check this out, brother. One thing I can't tell you about the white supremacists, they're great meme makers. They good at that. That's how they communicate a lot of their messages through memes.
Thank you.
So whoever the brothers are and sisters are who good at making memes, you know, I know y'all made one about R. Kelly, and that's funny. But let's go ahead on and start making memes about them and all that. I mean, they be going elaborate, talking about how we was kings and all kind of other things they be doing, but we don't do nothing about them.
That's a form of propaganda. That's how they get us to move emotionally. Yeah, that's how they get us to move emotionally. Our counter back to that is we should have one of the things. I wonder what my mayor thinks about this. Put those memes out there. Put those people in a high seat and like, damn, they making memes about me. That means that they actually notice me. They actually see me. Some of these black people in leadership probably think that y'all don't even care. They come into your community as Democrats, say vote for me, and we just whore ourselves to them. We don't ask them for nothing. We don't hold them accountable for nothing. So all I'm saying is this whole message that I brought when I came on here today, the whole message that I brought was, I ain't worried about Tammy the Mammy. I'm worried about y'all, man. I'm worried about y'all. It hurt me to death to see that video of Tamir Rice getting shot and that cop not getting charged. That ain't nobody's fault but ours. Because we refuse to start movements. I'm telling you, go look at the movements that our dads and them had in the 60s in college. Look up the riots that was on these college campuses when our parents and them was going to war, going at it. And the shootings that was happening on these campuses. Look them up. What are we doing? What are we doing? We complaining for 2 days, and then after 2 days is over, we go right back to doing our same bull crap. We waiting for God to come do it. We don't want to change nothing. We just want to complain. So if we ain't willing to do the things that we talked about on this live stream today, none of y'all got the right to call Tammy the Mammy. Because she don't serve y'all. She serve the people who serve her.
All right. And George has been cooking with definitely some grease tonight, y'all. I mean, I know y'all love George Macon. You know, he bring a lot of knowledge for y'all, and he stir you up, like I say, and that's a good thing, man. I definitely, appreciate George for coming tonight and bringing that message, even though we had a technical difficulty. But I want to give some shout outs real quick to some people that had donated to the fund while we was on the stream. Jermaine, Randy, Sean Leonard, Ed, and Kelvin. Definitely appreciate you. We're about close to the goal now. We got $590 left to go, and we hit the goal, and that's great in almost less than 24 hours. So that's great. See, the thing is, when we mobilize guys and for good causes, we don't need their banks. We got ourselves. Listen to everything that George told you tonight. We can use crowdfunding to even fund businesses in the community, start schools, send some of our kids maybe to a college that they can't afford or something because they just smart, and we need that knowledge to come back to the community. We need to be like, Muammar Gaddafi was, and say, look, I'll send you over there to learn it, but you got to come back here to Libya and use that knowledge over here. You understand what I'm saying? So we got to think like that. I saw somebody talking about investing in Ghana or whatever. I mean, the sky's the limit when we unify together, and that's what they do not want. That's why they want to keep us from Africa, keep us from the Caribbean, keep us from, Latin America. Anywhere our people are located, they want us separated. So, we can work on the home front, as I stated in my other video, and we also can be on the global team as well. So, George, tell people how to get to you before we wrap this up.
Yeah, it's 926 people. They just put the link in the chat. You can go into George Macon 2. Subscribe to my.
And the money here goes a lot further than over there. Well,
Right,
our money
right,
go
right.
further. So for every $1 is like 103 Kenyan shillings. So bringing certain amounts of money over there, I mean, you can do a lot. You get what I'm saying? And so, like I said, so you not only money, you can buy on supplies. We definitely would love to put on like my wife is going, so she could probably be in charge of putting on parties because that's her thing. And I'm gonna ask her that because she's gonna need money to work with to put on a great party for these kids. Maybe get them some moon jumps. Not only also donating the money too to the school so they could buy things. You got 45 children that actually live there. And they don't have no place to go. It's not like Child Protective Services. You on your own. You could be in the streets. You get what I'm saying?
Right, 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 right.
So you know how white people, when they go into a country, they go there bringing things to them and trying to help them and show them do different. You know what I'm saying? And say, oh,
That's how they indoctrinate them.
yeah.
Yeah.
And white people come in and they say, oh, the white people, they do this. Well, we are the relatives. We are the family. How much more that we shouldn't come and do those things? So when they see Black Americans show up, they say, oh man, that's my brothers, man. They helped us out. They be doing this, they be doing that. You get what I'm saying? So, and then they have a lot of access to a whole lot of things that we don't have no access to, George, over here. Like, you want to start a business, well, Akon said that whatever you're doing here in America, go do it in Africa. It'll be successful a lot faster. I clearly see that because you don't have the sabotage that you have
Right.
here with these folks. You know what I'm saying? You get to, like I said, you want to rebuild Black Wall Street, you can build it over there. I mean, because they're not going to go drop bombs on you, over there.
We gotta get past this fear, this propaganda
Yeah. A
tax
lot, a
they
lot
put
of
on
it's
people.
fear. A lot of it's fear. We'll find 1,000 excuses why we won't go or
Yeah.
or won't at least try it. I tell you, just go one time and see it yourself. If you went and you don't like it, well, cool. At least you went. But most
Yeah.
people that go, it changes them. George, when you going?
Soon. I'm
Okay.
definitely. I was supposed to went in the '90s, but I had got locked up and I never made it. But me and my wife was talking about it, either going to South Africa
Okay,
or.
well, I'm glad you mentioned South Africa because we're working on some situation. We can do another trip to South Africa. So once I get that everything inked down, then I'll let you know.
Yeah, we wanna we talk about going because I asked her. I remember when I first met my wife. I said if you was able to go anywhere you want to go, like this about 15, 16 years ago. She was talking about Europe and everything. Then after all these years of being with me, and I'm always talking pro-black, I asked her the other day. I said, if you had anywhere you want to go, she said, I want to go to South Africa. I was like, oh man,
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah, brother,
that long
you got
plane
your
ride.
passport? You and your wife?
Yeah, we got passports.
All right.
It's that
Make sure
long plane ride, man.
Huh? Man, come on. No, don't you start that sign up.
No, like I've been to Hawaii and all those places. Like I've flown 11 and 12 hours. I've been to different places far. I just never been to Africa.
Oh, okay. Well, you got to go. Like I said, man, I enjoy the plane ride, especially if you get a red eye, because then you
I
be
be
sleeping.
scared, man. I know. I don't know why I be scared of the planes.
Bro,
Man.
do you know you have more chances of dying in a car accident than you would a plane crash?
I heard that, but I be having bad luck. So just by luck, I be the percentage of when it's going down. No, I hate with the turbulence, man. My wife be laughing at me, man, when I be on the plane. I be on there acting like a punk.
Yeah, I seen a dude act like that one time. Say, brother, just calm down. I say, cause whatever this plane gonna do, you ain't gonna stop it by tripping. So, you're not gonna do that. So,
No, they had a nerve to tell you to put your seatbelt on when you 31,000 feet. There, what's that gonna do? Your damn seatbelt.
Yeah, I know. I guess it's just a psychological thing. Like that seatbelt gonna do something. But like I said, bro. Like I said, the Lord be with you. No, don't worry about it. Say when the Lord got a mission for you, you gonna do your mission, and when He ready for you, it ain't nothing you can do to stop it.
You know what my favorite part of a plane ride is? When that bell come on, beep beep. Fasten your seatbelts and prepare for landing.
Oh yeah,
that's my favorite part of the airplane.
I always like takeoff. I've always liked takeoff.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah,
when you going up in the air, oh my God, man, I be sweating and everything.
Oh,
but
man,
when I was younger. I'm telling you, when I was in my 20s, I used to travel everywhere. I was never afraid of planes. It's when I'm older. I was like at 44, I'm afraid of roller coasters and airplanes now.
See, I don't fool with roller coasters. I used to do that a long time ago. My wife, she'll go do that and say, "You forget that. I'll be down here waiting on you." Because like I said, I say, cause I see these things be happening. He had 810 subscribers, guys, but George, I thank you, brother.
Thank
Like
you,
I said,
man.
we
Thank
got
you.
what we could for you.
Thank
You know, the people that did subscribe, appreciate you. We still put his link down so you guys can go and subscribe to this channel just in case you watch it on the replay and you didn't know about this. But man, George, like I said, take care of the family, the kids, the wife, man, and you know, you stay blessed. Please avoid the race soldiers in Philadelphia because they are plenty.
Oh yes, it is. Yeah. Oh, it's bad now. They got rid of our police chief. Our
Ross,
police.
yeah.
Yeah, they got rid of Ross, and they put that. Did you know? The new lady we got? She got caught wearing a shirt that was mocking Rodney King.
I did a story on that one. Yeah, the moment she did it, mocking Rodney King when she was with the LAPD. Yep, y'all got a race soldier.
Man, we got her. Man, we got her. We got a white mayor and a white district attorney now. Man, the city that's predominantly black. We in trouble.